Today on Simply Foodify, we're making beef bourguignon, and you start by chopping an onion like this. Cut the onion in half, cut off the end, not the root. Peel the skin. Keep your fingers back and slice. The beef we're using for the beef bourguignon, it is a beef chuck blade roast, 2.5 pounds, and now we're just cutting it into cubes. Next, we put flour in a bowl and add salt and pepper. Oil in the pot. Turn on the heat. Dry the cubes of beef off with a towel, a paper towel, and then place them in the flour. Hit them against the side of the bowl to get any excess flour off. They should look like this when you're finished. Little white cubes. Once the oil is sizzling, but just before it starts smoking, you put the cubes of beef in. You don't want them to touch each other, so you might have to do it in sections. The key here is that you want to brown the meat completely on every side of the cube. Next, we peel the potatoes. We're peeling 3 potatoes. Okay, I just flipped them over, so I'm getting another side brown now. Now we're chopping the potatoes into big chunks of the hot oil and setting it onto a paper towel. All of the sides of the beef are brown. Once all of the cubes of beef are floured, you keep the remaining flour to be used later. Next, we're going to coarsely chop 6 cloves of garlic. In the same oil where we brown the meat, we're adding coarsely chopped garlic, mustard seed, bay leaves, some dried rosemary and dried thyme. Then we add the onions, more onions, and the carrots. All of the goodness from the meat and the vegetables now are going to start building up at the bottom of the pot and caramelizing. Now we're going to deglaze the pan, and I'm going to pour in about 2/3 of a bottle of red wine. A little bit more. I'm going to add the same amount of stock. And stir it up. And get all of those good bits that have burned on the bottom of the pot. So. Now I'm going to add the potatoes. In. Add the meat, the beef, and some tomato paste. Now you want to mix all of that in and make sure that it's completely covered in liquid, because if it isn't, you have to add a little more. Looks like we might need to add a little more.
And that means more wine.
So we may be using a whole bottle of wine, which is fine. Down the heat and let it simmer for 2 to 3 hours. Now you want to simmer it for the 2 to 3 hours with the lid on. so it doesn't completely evaporate. And then later, towards the end, we'll take the lid off and let it cook. After the 2 to 3 hours are finished, then just skim off the top oils that have risen to the top of the stew. Like this. Next we add a tablespoon of sugar, because when you reduce that much wine, it's very acidic and you need to sweeten the stew again. And the final step is to add some salt and pepper to taste. And then it will be ready to eat. And now it's ready to eat.